Hello everybody. In this guitar lesson I'm going to teach you to play one of the great sing-along country songs, The Gambler by Kenny Rogers. Now I'll show you the chords and I'll teach you a strumming pattern. It's a pretty simple song, there's only 3 chords, but you will need to put a capo at the first fret of your guitar, so pop a capo on the first fret of your guitar and we'll get started. Let's start with the first 2 lines then. I'll demo them for you and then I'll break them down and show you how to play them. Here's the demo. On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to speak. Okay, let me take you through those first 2 lines then. Now I'll show you these on a beat by beat basis, so I'll do 1 downstroke for each beat. And we're going to start on the chord of D major and we'll play 4 beats, 4 downstrokes on that D major. On a warm summer's evening. Then we're going to change to G major and we'll play 2 downstrokes on the G major. Now you can play it like this, or if you prefer you can play it like this, it's up to you. On a train bound for, let me go back to D major for 2 beats, nowhere. Back to G major for 2 beats, I met up with a, back to D major. Now we're going to stay there for 4 beats. Gambler, we were both too tired to, then we go to A7 for 2 beats, speak. Okay, let's look at lines 3 and 4 now then. Again, I'll demo these for you and then I'll break them down and show you how to play them. Here's the demo. So we took turns just staring at the window in the darkness until boredom overtook us and he began to speak. Let's look at lines 3 and 4 then. These are actually very similar to lines 1 and 2 except for the end, which is a little bit different. But again, as with lines 1 and 2, we're going to start with 4 beats on D major. So we took turns just staring at the, then we go to G major for 2 beats, window in the, back to D major for 2 beats, darkness till, back to G major for 2 beats, bottom over. Now we go back to D major, but this time, unlike the first 2 lines, just for 2 beats. Took us. And then we go to A7 for 2 beats. And he began to. And then back to D for the final 2 beats. Speak. You've learnt the first 4 lines of the song now, and that is the first verse. And the great thing about The Gambler is that the chord progression on every verse and the chorus is exactly the same as the chord progression on the first verse. So now really you've learnt the chords for the entire song. That's brilliant. There is a key change in the Kenny Rogers version. I'm going to tell you about that a little bit later in the video and suggest what you might do there. But before we get to that point, I just want to show you first a strumming pattern for this song and also a simple fingerstyle technique that you can use to play the song, which will make it sound really nice. So next we'll look at the strumming pattern. Let me demo the strumming pattern for you first and then I'll break it down and show you how to play it. Here's the strumming pattern I suggest. So that strumming pattern, if I slow it down, it's down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. Now each one of those strumming patterns, each down, 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 up, lasts for 2 beats. So if you're going to play, for example, that D major right at the start of each line, that lasts for 4 beats, so you're going to play that strumming pattern twice. But where you have a chord that you only hold for 2 beats, such as the G major that you go to next, you just play the strumming pattern once. Okay, so one strumming pattern equals 2 beats. Okay, let's practice that strumming pattern together then. To make it a bit more fun, we'll practice to the chorus and I'll sing it so that you know where you are. Now, we'll do the first 2 lines of the chorus, but we'll have a little break and then we'll practice the second 2 lines of the chorus. So, let's start with the first 2 lines. The chords will appear over my left shoulder here if you want to follow them, and also just down here as well, you'll see them. So, I'll give you a count of 4 and then we'll come in with the first 2 lines of the chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. Okay, well done. Now let's move on to the second 2 lines of the chorus. Again, I'll give you a count of 4 and then we'll come in together. 1, 2, 3, 4. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Next, I'm going to show you a simple but effective fingerstyle technique you can use in the gambler. But before I do that, let me say, if you found this lesson useful, please do hit the like button. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe so that you're notified of the future guitar lessons that I release. And please consider joining the channel as a member. It's very economic to become a member. It supports me, it helps me financially if you do become a member. And you also get special early access to all of my guitar lessons. So please consider becoming a member. Now let's look at that simple fingerstyle technique. So The Gambler is a really good song to learn a really straightforward fingerstyle technique using your thumb and your index finger only. Okay, I'll demo it for you first and then I'll show you how to do it. So here's a demo of that fingerstyle technique. You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. Okay, so what I'm doing then is I'm playing a bass note with my thumb. So on the chord of D, the first bass note I'm going to play is the 4th string, which is the root note of that chord. That is the note of D. So bass note with your thumb, and then a downstroke, flicky downstroke like that with your index finger, aiming for the top 3 strings. So we've got this first of all. Next I'm going to play another bass note. This time I'm going to play the 5th string. So an alternate bass note there. And with my index finger I'm going to play up, down, up. Again, it's a flicky kind of motion, like that. Focusing on the top 3 strings, those 3. So we've got this 4th string, down, 5th string, up, down, up, 4th string, down, 5th string, up, down, up. And when you speed it up, it'll sound like this. Now when we change chord, the only thing that's going to change is the bass notes we play. So when we go to our G chord, our G major chord, our bass notes are going to be 6th string, which is the root note of G, and 5th string, okay? But your index finger will do the same thing. So it will be 6th string down, 5th string up, down, up. So there on the G we have. So 6th string down, 5th string up, down, up. And when we go to the A7 chord, there our bass notes will be 5th string and 6th string. Well, you could play 5th string and 4th string. Either will work actually. So let's try it with 5th string and 6th string. fifth string and fourth string. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is a key change in the Kenny Rogers version of the song about halfway through the song. And what he does, he goes up a semitone from the key of E flat to the key of E. Now, we've got into the key of E flat by using a D-shaped chord and a G-shaped chord and an A7-shaped chord with a capo at the first fret, right? Half a tone up, we're going to be playing, instead of D, we're going to be playing, or a D shape, remember it's E flat, we can be playing an E chord. And the only realistic way to do that really with that capo on is a bar chord at the 7th fret. Okay, when we play the G chord, we're going to play a bar chord at the 5th fret, that's an A now, instead of the G, which remember really was an A flat because of the capo there. And then instead of the A7 chord, we're going to play a B7, barring at the 7th fret. So that's the only realistic way to cope with that semitone key shift halfway through the song. Let me just play you through a chorus using those bar chords so you'll know what it sounds like. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Now, having said that, unless you're pretty good with your bar chords and very confident, you're probably going to find that quite difficult. It's a bit unnatural for most of us to play a whole song like that using bar chords. So actually what I would tend to do is, instead of shifting up a semitone like Kenny Rogers does, if you want to do a key change, I'd shift a whole tone up. So there you can just play a chord of E, open E instead of the D. So D becomes E, G becomes A, and A7 becomes B7. So I'll just play through that chorus for you using the open E, A and B7 chords, which remember shifts the song up by a whole tone. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done.